Hey guys, we're sitting here in the Nitro Z21 XL. This is my 2023 model. It's the boat I'm running all season long, and I'm going to walk you guys through everything in the boat, how I've got it set up, how I've got everything organized, what I'm running, what I've got on the back, my batteries, my graphs, everything to show you guys how I've set my boat up this season. So on the back of the boat, we got 10-foot power pull blades once again this season. I love the 10-footers. They just let me hold in a little bit deeper water, and I found them a little bit more useful than the 8s, so that's why I'm running them. I've got a Mercury Pro Access 4-stroke. It's one of the most reliable, fastest, most powerful motors. I've ran a Mercury for pretty much my whole life. I love this motor and haven't had any issues. And a new item that I'm really excited about is right here. So I've got the Impulse Marine jack plate. So this jack plate here is all electric. It's one of the only electric jack plates out there that I know of. Never run one. I met the guys at ICAST this year. We got one put on the boat and I love it so far. I haven't had any problems with it. It's really nice. I like the fact that because it's electric, you're not relying on hydraulics that could fail. If this electric jack plate ever fails, all I gotta take is an Allen key and I'll stick it in the top of that jack plate motor, and I can winch down the jack plate or winch it back up with my hands, which is something nice, just a fail safe for when you're on the water. They got a lot of cool features, like this feature right here, the trailer button. So when you get out of the water, obviously you're gonna have your jack plate pulled all the way up when you're putting it on the trailer. Once you're ready to go, you're not gonna tow with your motor all the way up, so you just press this button and it sets it at the desired height, which I've got mine at 2 inches. So it just automatically goes down to the desired height that I want it at. I really love that jack plate. It's also got a wireless remote that I keep right up here under the dash. That's got 3 preset buttons. So I've got, all the way down, I've got it set for 2 inches, which seems to be the best that my motor's running at right now. And I've got my memory 3 set for all the way up when I'm putting it on the trailer, or I can just use these up and down buttons. It's a Bluetooth remote, it's awesome, and I just keep it mounted right here on a little balls out mount up under the console. All right, so in the back of the boat, I worked with my buddy this year, Trent Palmer, with Sonar Pros, and he hooked me up with the Sonar Pros dedicated lithium kit. This is one of the most impressive riggings of a boat I've ever seen. I've had my boat rigged several times. I rigged it myself, and I've never seen such a clean job as Trent did. And the way that he's got this boat rigged is amazing. I'm gonna walk you guys through it. So I've got these two 36-volt Dakota lithium 60 amp hour trolling motor batteries wired in parallel, and they're both being charged by my power pole charge. And then over there is the big boy. I've got a 12-volt 280 amp hour Dakota lithium battery that runs all of my electronics, all my accessories, my power poles, my nav lights, my live wells, everything. And then I've just got a AGM battery just for the motor, just to crank the motor. That way I know that I'm never gonna have to worry about that battery dying. And how Trent has rigged this is really cool. I wanna walk you guys through it. So right here I've got my main power switch. This turns on my power, all my accessories. This switch here powers up my graphs. If for whatever reason my lithium battery for my graphs were to die or not charge or whatever, I can just turn this switch the other way. Everything else would be powered off of this AGM battery. So it's just kind of a fail safe that Trent put in that I'm really just in love with. Power Pole Charge charges these Dakota lithiums, and it charges this AGM battery here for my cranking. Then I've got a separate Precision Charge that charges just my standalone lithium battery. And then Trent has also installed a Charge on the Run, which also charges my standalone lithium battery when my motor's cranked. So basically every single battery in this boat is getting charged when the motor's cranked. It's like a fail-safe times 1,000. Just really impressive job. I've got my power poles mounted up in there, my power pole pumps, my power pole charge is back there. That's one thing I love about this Nitro, is that there's just so much room for activities. All right, so back here I've got my two, pull-out compartments that they're just little inserts. On the right side, I keep, just some basic tools. I got a prop wrench, spare trolling motor prop. I keep a jug of oil just in case. Gotta keep a spare trolling motor handle. I keep this handy dandy lure knocker that saved me quite a bit of money over the past couple years. You drop that thing down and get almost any lure I want back. So on the passenger side, I keep some of my heavier baits. I've got, heavy swim bait heads, big shaky heads, just a big, heavy weighted jig heads. I keep all of my power blades, my Berkeley spinner baits, some heavy, big plastics. Keep this stuff on the passenger side because a lot of the times I'm driving by myself, so it kind of helps balance out the boat, having that heavy weight on the left side when I'm on the right side of the boat. All right, guys, so we're here at the command center. We got our Lowrance unit, Humminbird unit, all on the BoatLogix dual console mount. This mount is amazing. It's got a big plate on the backside that mounts flush just to this fiberglass console here that Nitro has. This thing is very sturdy. I've put this thing through some pretty big waves and I've not had any issues with it. It's the same mount that I ran last year. It's an awesome mount. Then we've got the Z Touch panel, which is the all new on these 2023 Nitros. This thing is awesome. I can put my boat in night mode. I got First Fish 2, which is just like a live well aerator system that'll just fill up my live well enough for my first fish. I like these buttons a lot. So I've got a hole shot button, which trims my motor all the way down for me, and I've got a shallow water button, which trims it all the way up for me. Not all the way up, but enough that it's, it's not gonna drag the bottom. I like to fish shallow a lot, so I'll pull up in a place, and as soon as I set down, I'll just click that shallow water button, and I don't have to sit here and hold the trim. I can just go up there and start fishing. It's an awesome feature. Got the RGB, which is an add-on, but it's a light system for the whole boat. It's got console, deck lighting. I can change the color of it to whatever I want. It's really awesome for, just like sit there in the morning. It helps your towing with find your boat if you're like, oh, I'm the boat that's glowing green or red or whatever. But it's also great for rigging up. They're actually really bright at night, so it helps me be able to see. I've just got my basic other switches, but I do love this fan feature. The fan will help dry out my boat whenever it's wet on the inside. I can turn that fan on and everything will dry itself out. It's a really nice feature to keep your plastics from getting soggy, keep your hard baits from getting too wet. I like the fan feature a lot. Another thing that I've got to have on my boat is a speaker. I've got this Kicker speaker system that you can add on to the Nitros. I got the Bluetooth controls here. So I got these Kicker speakers mounted to this cooler right here, and nothing is better than catching a bag and weighing in and idling back to the weigh-in with some tunes bumping. You gotta have the speakers to let them know that you have the bag. So these Nitros have one of the biggest coolers I've ever seen on a boat. I also keep an Orca cooler with me, during the summer to keep some extra bags of ice, to keep those fish cold. But this Nitro cooler is awesome. It is so deep, I can fit a whole case of water in there and 2 bags of ice. And I normally have a trash can right here you can take in and out. It's a great cooler. It's one of the best coolers I've seen in a bass boat, and it keeps your drinks cold when they need to be cold during the hot summer. So here we got the rod locker. It's just a basic rod locker. I got all my Abu Garcia combos in there. Bit Mill can just whip my butt with a glide bait, so I got a glide bait in there trying to figure out that deal. And it normally comes with inserts up at the top, but for me, the inserts aren't super practical, so I pulled those tubes out of the top, just take 2 screws out, take them out. That way I can fit as many rods as I need to in here. It's an awesome rod box. I can fit a ton of stuff in here at one time. Here we got the 2 center boxes. I keep all of my heavier plastics and stuff on this side, kind of like the same with the back there. I want my heavier stuff on this side of the boat to offset me on the driver's side. So I keep all of my little Plano boxes here vertical, got everything listed so I can see my terminal tackle. This is, just a really easy way for me to get whatever I need, like for example, my worm weights. Just open this up. I've got every size labeled with these little Plano inserts. You pop them things open and your weights sit in there really nicely. it keeps everything very organized, and it's important when you're on the water to be organized so you can find yourself quicker, you can be more efficient. On the other side, I've got all my hard baits for the most part. I got some old, like almost finished bulk spools of Berkeley 100% fluorocarbon for my leader line, and these little Plano line holders. They keep your line, kind of nice and organized, and you can just pull it off of there when you need a leader. Keep 17, I keep 10, 12. I got some smaller spools of 8. Also, these Nitros come with these handy bait organizers. You can hang your soft plastics up on these things. They also have all these magnets here to where you can stick your hard baits whenever you cut one off to kind of keep it out of the floor and out of your way. Just jig trailers, swim baits, just different stuff in these little Plano bags. Whatever I might need. I try and keep everything as organized as possible. I just did this year, and I had a friend of mine fall in the water at blast off last year at Lake Cherokee. It was like 20 something degrees, freezing cold. He didn't have extra clothes. He had to go to his truck and warm himself up to prevent from getting hypothermia. Missed out on like 2 hours of the tournament. So I got one of these Nitro waterproof bags, and I put a whole set of anything that I could need. I got a lightweight rain jacket, hoodie, thermals, underwear, socks. I got everything I need in here in case I ever decide to go for a swim on accident. That way I don't have to, miss out on fishing if I did it at my first spot or whatever. I got what I need. So I think that's a good idea for everyone to keep in their boat, just in case. You never know what's gonna happen on the water. Another little trick that I've done in this rod locker, I noticed that the carpet, it kind of gets a little wet, and it kind of stays wet sometimes. It might get your baits a little soggy. So I've taken some old truck floor mats actually, and I've placed these things just down in there. They're just old, stuff that I found that, may have been in an old truck that they didn't want anymore. I put them in the bottom of the rod locker all the way through to keep my baits kind of up off the carpet, to keep them from getting wet. Up here at the front, we got our day boxes. I keep just different stuff. I got dyes, Sharpies, super glue, just basic stuff in here to modify my lures with. It's really nice, handy box to keep that stuff kind of away from everything else. I got my dyes in a Ziploc because we want to avoid spilling that stuff at all costs. If you open up this box, you're in trouble because that's where the dude wipes are. All right, so up top up here, this is where the magic happens. This is the fish catching zone, the arena. I got Lowrance, Humminbird, and Garmin. I like all 3 of the units. They all 3 have different purposes, and I like them for all of those purposes. I've got 360 Garmin Panoptics, got the Minn Kota trolling motor. It's just really a great setup. This year I did something a little different with my mounts. I've got this Lowrance on a standalone BoatLogic deck mount right here. It just bolts down. I like that a lot more. I went with the triple mount last year, and I was having issues just kind of positioning the graphs how I wanted them with the glare of the sun. So this year I went with just a double stack mount that mounts right here onto this Nitro panel, and it's been great, guys. I mean, this BoatLogic's, I cannot brag enough about them. They make some solid products, and these are very expensive units, as all you guys know, so you got to protect your investments, and you need to protect them with heavy duty mounting systems that are going to prevent those things from flying off or falling over or breaking or whatever. All right, so that's pretty much it. We got the trailer. The Nitro comes with a spare that's mounted right there. I got a nice little box right here. It's where I keep my wheel chocks, just basic stuff to make sure that the boat stays situated. And that's my Nitro, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer whatever you might want to know about my boat. It's been an awesome boat last year. I'm loving it so far this year, and I'm very excited to run Nitro, and hope you guys enjoy this video.